Hello and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. All this week, we will be celebrating Her Majesty the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. 60 fabulous years. Today, we are visiting Royal Leamington Spa. Just look at this patriotic crowd, smiling, happy, they're here to do business. I'm going to sit you down with one of our regular dealers. They're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
How much would you like for this?
Well, as much as you want.
As much as possible
if you can, but...
That's what they all say.
If I don't think that's enough money, I'm going to say no. Rejected. Gamble and come to auction with me. You might get a little bit more money.
170, 180, 190.
I shall be on hand at all times to help and advise. Look at the smiling faces. They're eager to start the show. They want to do business. They want to walk away with the real deal.
Coming up on today's special Diamond Jubilee show, meet a royal enthusiast with a passion for memorabilia.
When the postman arrives with packets and parcels, I try to get to the door first before my wife. If she gets there first, tempers get a wee bit frayed.
Find out how mere Leamington Spa became Royal Leamington Spa. So it's time to kick this right royal affair off with the majestic Debbie Circle.
What we've got here is the Queen's Silver Jubilee, commemorated between 1952 and 1977 of her reign. And this particular piece says it's to certify that this is one of a limited edition of 2,500 commemorative plates.
That's correct. It belonged to my in-laws, and I have no idea why they bought them or when they bought them. It's one of several different pieces that we came across in the house.
What are you planning on doing with the money if you do sell it?
Well, my wife died 5 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the things like these are objects, what we've got.
Yeah.
We agreed that they would be sold.
Yeah.
And the money would be distributed to the cancer fund. So the more I can get off you, then the more I can give to them.
Oh, so no pressure then?
No.
Well, it's a very nice thing to be looking to put the money towards, and I'd be very happy to contribute. But hopefully my offer will be one that you'll be pleased with. And if not, you always have the option of having a day out with David at the auction.
Yes.
Have you ever been to an auction before?
No.
No. Well, hopefully you won't have to. Have a go. 20, 40, 60, £80. Now, before you agree or disagree, the reason I've straight away put that down is that this is a solid silver piece.
Yes.
So in its own right, it is worth something just because it's made of silver. So £80 is my opening bid. How do you feel about that, Paddy?
Well, I'd feel a lot happier and better if there was a little bit more or a lot more on the table.
An awful lot more.
Yes.
If I put 90 on the table, how do you feel about that, Paddy?
I'd feel a little bit more. There's a little bit more on top of it.
And what do you mean by a little bit more?
Well, I'll let you know when you get there.
OK. So if I take the 10 away and put 20, leaving me a little bit of profit, I think that's quite a fair bid. What do you think about that, Pad?
Well, I think if you put that other £10 back on top of that, I might consider it.
Well, as it's going to charity, and you're such a gentleman, I shall put 110 down. We've got a deal.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Paddy. Thanks for coming.
You too.
Top money on the table there, Paddy. Our noble dealer David Halfpenny is next in line with a well-known royal name.
John, you brought a little Worcester Plaque here. Worcester, Royal Worcester. Tell me something about this.
Well, I used to collect Worcester. Well, I don't collect it now. I haven't collected for 10 years or more. You know, and the sons don't want to collect antiques, so, you know, I just thought I'd sell some stuff.
I like Worcester, I particularly like the plaques they make, and this is by a very well-known artist, Stinton.
Yeah, one of the Stinton.
Yes. Let me just have a little look at the back stamp on it. Oh, there it is, the Worcester mark, and of course you can date it to the exact year, of course, can't you? These
I don't know the year, I haven't worked
Well, this will
it
be
out.
between 1925 and 1930. Yes, very nice indeed. So, John, how much would you like for this Worcester plaque?
Well, as much as you
Much
as possible if you
Well,
can,
that's
but...
what they all say. You don't want 50 quid, do you?
No.
I knew you didn't. 100 sounds more exciting, doesn't it?
Not really, I think it's worth a lot more than 100.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've lost touch what they're worth, these things, these days.
I
The
think-
market's been a bit up and down, hasn't it?
Oh, I think Worcester will always sell.
What about £150, John? Aren't I getting close here?
Not really.
Thought I was. I don't fancy it for a lot more than that. 170. No?
No, nowhere near.
190.
No, you're nowhere near.
200.
You're still a good way off. you
Am
know.
I really?
Yeah.
Here's some advice.
Well, what we've got here is something which is desirable. 250 to 350 are independent values and auctioneers see the same. I think you'll out that on your very fashionable stall. He has market stalls all over at these Bracanti fairs, and he's there dappered up like this, and all the ladies come in. Dave, what have you got? I've got this, I've got the Stinton, I've got that, and bang, he's got it sold.
Marvellous.
You know, he's got those eyes, and you know, he's got the gift of the gab. You have that away easy.
Yes.
I'm going to say, tell him to put some more money down.
Well, John, you've talked me into giving a bit more. I wasn't going to. I'd want to give you £230, and that's what I'd want to give. So if you'd rather take it to auction, I'm not offended.
That's your final offer?
And you're going to say no?
No.
John, you're going to auction?
Yes. Yeah.
I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I do like a bit of Royal Worcester, and I'm amazed I didn't buy it.
I wanted more for it, and I think it's worth about 300, I would have thought.
Will John manage to get his £300 at auction? Let's find out as his Royal Worcester goes under the gavel of auctioneer Richard Winterton.
Where did it come from?
I bought it at an antique shop quite a few years ago, about 15.
Do you know what you paid 15 years ago?
I think it was about 250.
It is here in the auction. The range is 280 to 300, and the reserve is 280. It's coming up now. Are they going to go for it?
Now we come to the Royal Worcester oval plaque there. Signed by James Stinton. A lot of interest on it.
A lot of interest.
200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 300
Pass
pounds.
the reserve at 300.
300 pounds, done at 3, sold then at 300.
OK, £300. Now there's some commission to take off there. 255 quid. Are you satisfied or are you disappointed?
A little bit disappointed, but, you know, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
John would have liked to have seen a little bit more, but that's the market, and it's found its level here in the sale room. That's the real deal.
Well, John, you went for the 300, but there's always that commission to think about. It was a close one. Jan Keen's holding court next. Auctioneer Richard Winterton and the Duke are eagerly waiting for this deal to kick off, making sure our dealer hits the right notes.
Bill, would you like to tell me a little bit about its background? I can see it's the most wonderful violin.
It is indeed. Bequeathed to me by my aunt, who lived in Kirkcaldy in Scotland, and it's just been kept at home. Nobody else in the family plays. I'm tone deaf myself.
There it's sat, a bit of a lonely existence
As
then.
indeed.
Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's a beautiful shaped case in solid oak, and then we open to reveal the violin. The case itself is beautifully lined in this original, what probably, well, at the beginning would have been quite a jewel-like green velvet. And I believe it would have been used by a professional musician. there's a lovely little maker's mark saying 140 New Bond Street, London, and it's W.E. Hill and Sons Violin Makers. And I believe it's got the maker's mark inside, John Betts. And then we lift out the actual violin. The pine is a beautiful patination. It's quite light here and here where it would have been handled, but here where it hasn't seen much of people's fingers, it's kept its original colour. So it is absolutely quite wonderful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Now, when it comes to instruments, it is a very specialised area.
Most of the stuff that comes through our auction, we would know 80–85% we can be within that small little frame.
Yes.
We know.
Yes.
Then you've got the specialist market and, you know, and the top antiques. Then we need to look a bit more research in it. We all have experts. We have a musician expert on site, and even those then have to take it on another step, you know, just to see what the value is.
And let's see what our dealer puts on the table. Let's see if she has any specialist knowledge.
So I'm going to put down 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, £500 on the table.
Tempting, but I think it's worth a bit more than that.
If I made it another 50 and said 550.
I'd say it's tempting, but I think it's worth a little bit more than that.
OK, well, supposing I say then I'll round it off to 600.
600 quid?
No,
Does that take you by surprise?
No, it hasn't, because she's a, you know, quality dealer, and it's a quality item, Dave. There's no getting around that. Is a quality violin.
Let's find out what our dealer is doing by putting £600 down. Let's see if I can gauge what's going on. I need to get in there.
Well, it's very tempting.
Hello, David.
OK, you see a very spirited offer there. All our independent valuers have looked at it and said, good-looking instrument, maybe that could fly in the auction, and maybe not. £600, pretty tasty. Are you in there for a gamble, or are you scooping up the 600 quid?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have one more gamble with you, and then I'm not saying another word. I'm going to leave the ball in your court. I'm going to put another 50 down to make it 650.
I think, Jen, I think I will accept the money. Yes,
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you.
And what do you think you're going to do with the money?
Not
Any
sure
plans?
yet. No plans yet, so I wasn't really expecting too much.
Is it a good deal?
I personally think it should have gone to auction. I'm disappointed, but it's up to the client if he wants to take the money.
You know, auctioneers, they like to get that stuff into their sale room. On this occasion, one slipped through on the rails for cash.
Coming up, the best of British silver floods into the dealer's den.
Little collection of medallions. They're obviously all solid silver, and they've got all these Queen's beasts on them.
And prepare to be dazzled by an extraordinary collection.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Royal Leamington Spa.
It's back to the dealing on our very special Diamond Jubilee show. Our next seller is hoping for a roaring success with David Ford.
Little collection of what look like silver medallions, I guess. So, tell me, how did you come to own these?
They belonged to my stepmother, who she sadly passed away in September, and my dad decided to bring them to auction, and any money we raised, we're going to give to cancer research and the nurses.
Marvellous. Yes, I've had my own experiences with them, and they are absolutely wonderful. I mean, the thing is with this sort of thing is when people go out and buy these, they buy them from various companies that manufacture these things,
Yeah.
Jubilee. There'll be more coming out for the Queen's Jubilee this year. And there's sort of two good days. I mean, talking now commercially rather than about your charitable gesture you're going to make. There's two good days when you buy the day you buy them and the day you sell them, you know. probably quite expensive when bought new,
Yeah.
far more than face
I don't know,
value.
yeah.
But today, they're probably only worth, commercially, the value of the silver.
Right.
Seems sad because
It does,
they're all
yes.
nicely done.
They're beautiful.
I mean, I don't know quite who the manufacturer of these were, but they're obviously all solid silver, and they've got all these, what are called the Queen's beasts on them, etched into them. Now, a little earlier on, they were weighed for me, so I know what they weigh, so I know what they're worth in terms of their silver value.
Yeah.
And it's that, quite frankly, that I would be paying.
Okay.
So let's see where we can go with these, shall we? I'm basing this offer really on the scrap value. There's £200, and there's a further £20. Now that's the value if they go to melt.
Yes.
And there's a £20 because I really do believe in a Macmillan from me.
That's great.
So that's £240 I'll give you for those, which is just a bit over what they're worth. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
I feel that's quite a generous offer, actually, yes.
Do we have a deal?
I think we can have a deal on that. It's a great offer.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Another satisfied customer. Kevin walks away with a princely sum. All week we're celebrating the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, and we caught up with one person who certainly knows a thing or two about all things royal.
I'm Robin Hunt from Stockport. I'm a retired school teacher, and I've been collecting royal memorabilia for the last 40-odd years. Mainly ephemera and small pieces of silver. I concentrate on things that are easy to handle and attractive to look at. I've been told that I can only have one room in the house to store all this memorabilia, so I keep it all in the dining room. The way I catalogue my items, if they're 3D items like brooches, jigsaw puzzles, I photograph them and put them in various reference books so that I needn't duplicate things. My favourite items are my collection of silver spoons commemorating Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilee. Silks, I've got a big collection of silks, and this is from the wedding of Charles and Diana. It's ostrich feathers mounted in silver, and of course the feathers of the Prince of Wales, and it's a most attractive and most unusual souvenir. One of the rarest items that I've got is this coronation programme for William IV, printed on satin. It was given by the Garter King of Arms to one of his friends, and it says this is the only one which has not been issued to members of the royal family. My collection's got me into trouble, but only domestically, because when the postman arrives with packets and parcels, I try to get to the door first before my wife. If she gets there first, I'm afraid tempers get a wee bit frayed. The monetary side of the collection doesn't really bother me at all. It's the love of collecting, the interest that I get from the collection, and if I've got to save up for it and do without things, I'll do that. I don't think we'll ever be without the royal family. They're so much above politics. I think they'll continue on into the far distant future.
More quality items in the dealer's den. Debbie's been joined by Alistair in his cigarette box from Her Majesty's ship Exeter.
Alistair, thanks so much for coming on the show.
So very nice to meet you, Debbie.
Enjoying your day?
Having a wonderful day.
Good, good, good. Tell me about this box.
Well, this box here was a wedding present to my mother and father from the gun room of his turret on HMS Exeter, which was commissioned in 1931.
Right.
Plymouth.
And that's exactly the year of the hallmark.
Well, they got married in December 1931.
Right. So everything marries up in that sense. And on the top, you say these are all the...
These are the signatures of all the people in the turrets, gun turret, on HMS Exeter. They all came along to his wedding and they all signed on the top
remarkable.
of the...
Amazing, amazing. I love that side of it. But if I'm being brutal...
Yes.
My comment would be, it looks as though it has been then in the wars. It's covered in dents.
Yes.
I don't think there's one corner that's not been knocked in.
Yes.
its condition is a problem.
Yes.
And unfortunately, although it has its story, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at a scrap item.
Yes.
So I'm going to be offering you the scrap price for it. Do feel free to say no, but that's where I see it at, Alistair. So 10, 20, £30. What do you feel about that?
Just before you answer that, Alistair.
Yes.
I think what we've got here is rather interesting. A piece of silver. It dates from the 1930s. I'm going to say £30, not enough. 100 to 150 was the estimation. Militaria collectors may desire that even more than the silver content. Go to auction.
It would have been lovely to have maybe the boat's name across the front.
Yeah.
The militaria aspect of it doesn't really come across unless, like yourself, you're directly related to the box in that sense.
Yes.
So, Alistair, this is my final offer, £30.
Yes.
I know it's a bit mean. Have you decided what you want to do?
I'm going to want to go to auction.
Okay, well,
please.
look, have a great day out.
Thank you very
and
much
thanks
indeed
so
for
much
your
for
time. The offer was £30, which wasn't enough. I think it'll bring great pleasure to a military historian.
Anchors away, Alistair. Let's see if those militaria collectors are in the room.
Why are you selling it today? You're obviously a collector, you've got lots of things.
Well, the thing is, we have so little space in the house, and my wife is making me clear things out at the moment.
On the day, Debbie, our dealer, offered you 30 quid. Ridiculous offer. It's here in the sale room. Let's see what it brings.
Moving now to lot 380, the table cigarette casket there. All engraved with the signatures on the top. I'm in at 100. At £100 I'm bid 100, 110. At 110 I'm bid 110, 120. At 120 I'm bid at 120, 120, and sold then at 120.
The gambler's just gone down at £120. Take away the commission, it's just over £100, £102. Satisfied or disappointed?
Very satisfied. Very satisfied.
Very fair indeed. You've heard what Alistair said. He was satisfied on the day. He's taking home £102, and that was the real deal.
Sold then at 25.
Great decision, Alistair. Your cigarette case is off to a good home. Coming up, the sound of wedding bells fills the air.
Yeah, I've got to go now because I'm getting married soon, so that's got to go.
Expensive business getting married.
And it's a bit of a ding-dong.
Would you go one more?
Do you know, how did I know you were going to ask me that?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Royal Leamington Spa.
Along with the rest of the UK, Royal Leamington Spa is busy celebrating Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee. Terry's up next with his attractive piece of Royal Duck's porcelain.
Thank you very much for coming today and bringing in this most delightful figure.
Yeah.
What is it that you can tell me about it?
Well, I've had it for 10 years. I bought it from a friend, but it's got to go now because I'm getting married soon, so...
So now's the time to sell it. Expensive business getting married.
Yeah, it is.
So that can go towards the funds.
Yeah, that's right.
The minute I clapped my eyes on it, I realised who the makers were. And it is, in fact, Royal Ducks. So if I turn that over, I can see the pink triangle underneath. And just here, I don't know if you'd ever noticed, it's got a very indistinct...
Yeah, it's signed at the back, yeah.
Signed.
I did notice that.
And I believe it says 1912.
Yes.
So that is rather nice as well, because it's always nice to have a date for something.
Yes.
And I think she's really rather nice.
Well, that's why I bought her, because I liked her myself.
Yes. So shall I put some money down on the table?
Yes, please.
See if I can tempt you.
Yeah, OK.
If I say 50, 100, 150. What do you think about that?
I think I'd like a bit more than that, a little bit more than that.
So is that around about what you paid 10 years ago? I'm thinking about inflation.
No, it was a little bit less than that.
So you just want to make a little bit on it because you're getting married and...
Yeah, that's right.
Supposing I put another 20 and I made it 170. What do you feel about that?
I think a bit more than that, really.
You're still looking for a little bit more?
Yeah.
I'm going to put another 20 down to make it 190. What do you think about that?
Do you think do better than that, please?
Just before you make a decision on this, let me tell you what the independent valuers and the auctioneers say. They say 150 to 200. You've got 190.
Mm-hmm.
You ask our dealer nicely, she might fill it up to 200. I would have thought that would be a very good deal.
Would you go one more?
Do you know, how did I know you were going to ask me that? Well, with that wedding looming,
Yeah.
I'll put down a 50 to make it a nice round 200, which should buy you a good wedding bash.
Yeah, that's a fair deal.
Well, thank you very much indeed, and I wish you all the best for your forthcoming wedding.
Thank you.
A right royal knees up for Terry. £200 towards the wedding kitty. A local historian has popped into the dealer's den. It's time to find out just how Leamington became a spa town, and more importantly, how it became Royal Leamington Spa.
Now, we know this area as Royal Leamington Spa, but it wasn't always Royal Leamington Spa, was it?
That's right. It started out as Leamington Priors.
Now, I'm reliably told that from Elizabethan times you could come here and you could take the waters and they were free, but you couldn't sell it to another person.
That's right. That was the decision of the Lord of the Manor. The source of the water lay on his land, and he said all the poor people should have access to the water because it was healing for free.
Okay. Now, this brings me to this gentleman here, and perhaps you'll explain to our viewers who that gentleman is and what he did.
He's a chap called Ben Satchwell. He started life as a cobbler in the village of Leamington Priors, but he was quite an entrepreneurial sort of guy, and he decided that there was money to be made in the spa water. So he and a friend looked for a second source of the spa water, and he found a spring. And this is back in 1784. And 4 years later, he opened a bathhouse on top of it. He'd created a place there where people could come, they could drink the water, they could bathe in it,
and he could charge them.
Correct.
Now, here we've got a pair of very early spectacles.
Those were his reading glasses.
And that small cottage there.
That's another of his businesses. As well as running the spa business, he's also the postmaster for the town. So that's the post office, and that's also where he lived.
Let's come forward a little bit here. And this gentleman here.
That's a chap called Abiatar Hawkes, 1803. And at that point, he's about 18 or 19 years old. Some years later, he goes to the spa town, and he becomes the master of ceremonies. And he hatches a scheme whereby the spa town tries to get itself upgraded, if you like, from Leamington Priors to Royal Leamington Spa. Victoria has already visited the town of Leamington, so she knows a little bit about it. She becomes Queen in 1837, and a year later, Hawkes and a couple of other people from the town go to see the Queen at court and ask her for the privilege of calling the town Royal Leamington Spa.
What we've got here is a charter. This is the one, well, not the original one, this is a copy, that Queen Victoria graciously granted to the town.
Yes, that's in 1838.
1838. Ever since, it has been known as Royal Leamington Spa.
Next up, it's our very own Prince Charming, Mr. David Ford.
Doreen, you bought me in some jewellery.
That's right. I bought it in the 1980s
You
in the
bought
jewellery
it?
quarter
All right.
in Birmingham.
And you've enjoyed it?
Oh, yes. I've had many a pleasure with it, but I decided to let it go now because I've had my time with the bracelet and I've got plenty others to use. So
You've got a lot of
I've got a
jewellery,
lot of
have you?
jewellery, yes.
Have
I
you?
thought I'll let it go for someone else.
So you're worth knowing then?
Oh, yes. I'm
What
worth-
diamonds and things you've got, have you?
No, not that far off.
OK, let's have a little look at it. It's quite a pretty little bangle, nicely engraved on the top there. And it's 375 standard, which means it's 9-carat gold.
Yes.
It's got a little safety chain. Pretty little thing, not terribly old. When did you buy it, you say?
In the 1980s.
1980s. Well, then it was probably 15 years old
That's
or something
right,
like that.
yes.
You know, so it's 1965, something like
Yeah.
that, I would think. So, you're going to sell it?
Yes,
And what do you
please,
plan to
today.
do with the money?
Well,
if
thought
I
I'd
buy it.
I'd like to put it towards a holiday.
Holiday?
Spending, you know, spending money.
Okay. Where would you like to go?
I'd like to go to Spain.
Have you been there before?
Only once.
Well, let's try and buy this from you and make you smile,
Yeah,
shall
thank
we?
you.
There's £50. There's £100. How are you feeling about that?
About some more, please.
You like more?
Yes, please.
Here's David. He'll give you some good advice, Doreen.
Doreen, let me tell you what the independent valuers and the auctioneers say.
Yes.
They say 140, 180. The scrap value, and I'm not saying that this should go to be scrapped, because I'm
No.
sure it has great sentimental value to
Yes.
you, but it scraps at about 160, 9-carat gold.
Yes.
You've got
Yes.
to say, Mr. Ford, please, sir, like Oliver Twist, may I have a little bit more? I know you have to make a profit.
Yes, that's
And I
right.
think we have to try and make an
Balance
even
it.
balance. We
Yeah.
need to look after our seller, but we also need to look after our dealer. They've got to sell these goods, bring it back into cash to be able to come back on the show again and use that money all over again.
Yes, thank you.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, thank
David
you, David.
just did everything for me. I don't have to say anything
No,
else.
that's
All I've got
right.
to do is put another £20 down there, and we have a deal.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's
Thank
shake
you.
hands. Oh,
Thank
you.
you.
Doreen.
Thank you.
That'll buy you a few sangrias, Doreen. Time to get packing. Still to come. The Duke's got the measure of
Now, I
Mr.
get the
Halfpenny.
impression This is not one of Dapper Dave's areas. He likes jewellery. He likes French Sèvres. Unless more money comes on the table, it's a done deal. Auction.
How's David going to get out of this one?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Royal Leamington Spa.
We've seen all sorts of regal items come through the doors here in Royal Leamington Spa. And well I never, Alan's brought in yet another majestic collectible, a fiery piece of Royal Doulton.
Tell me something about it.
My granddad's been collecting flambe for many a years, as far back as I can remember. My nan's looking to do a few home improvements, so we're looking to downsize and do a bit of work.
Well, that's what it is. It's flambe, and it's made by Doulton, isn't it?
Yep.
In about 1910, is it? 1910, 20?
I believe so, yeah. It is an early piece.
Yeah. And there it is, the Doulton mark underneath. This is very, very popular stuff, even today. Most things have gone out of favour, but the flambe is still very collectible. And there we have a nice vase with a little bit of enamelling on it, which is rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unusual.
A bit unusual, yes. I like something unusual.
Yeah.
And how much would you like for this, Alan?
I've got an idea. I'll see if you can tempt me with it.
I'll get the cash out then and see if I can make you a happy punter. What about a 50 quid?
No way.
That was a definite no.
The definite no.
£100?
Nowhere near still.
I don't really know what this is worth, to be honest. I like it, though. 150.
Still nowhere near.
Oh, I think it's worth 200 quid.
Still nowhere near.
Am I a long way away?
Long way off, yeah.
220.
Nowhere near still.
240. You keep saying nowhere near.
Still nowhere
Are we
near.
warming up?
No.
260, 280.
Still nowhere near.
300.
Still nowhere near.
Would you rather go to auction?
I would rather go to auction, yeah.
I'd like to buy this off you. Alan, how much do you like for it?
A lot more than that. Still a lot more.
Well, Alan, I really don't know what this is worth. I'm just having a sporting gamble here, and here's some advice.
Now, I get the impression this is not one of Dapper Dave's areas. He likes jewellery. He likes French Sèvres. He likes decorative, wonderful items. What you've got here is a bit of flambe. It's very collectible. £400 to £600 is what the independents are saying. I don't think there's enough money there. I'm going to say, respectfully to David, it's not really his area. And so, unless more money comes on the table, no question. It's a done deal. Auction. I think we're on fairly safe ground with this.
Well, I do like a gamble. It's like poker, this, isn't it?
Yep.
400. 4.5.
Still no.
You're great, you are. I'll give family a quid. You're going to say that's not enough?
It's not, no.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know what it's worth. I'm just having a sporting gamble there.
Yep.
Probably worth £1,000, is it?
Could be. It's worth a lot, yeah.
Could well be.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's super. Take it to auction.
OK, thank you.
Hope you do well.
He offered £500 and I don't think it's enough, so I'm going to auction.
I've probably made a big mistake not steaming on for that and giving £1,000 for it.
Yes, £30 in the room at £30. £30 in the room at 30, at 30, at 30.
Let's see if we can do the right thing here. You turned down 500, quite a lot of money, but the reserve is £500 here. If it only makes £500, you will be worse off, but if it makes more, you will be better off. That's the gamble. It's here now. Come on.
The Royal Dalton Flambe bottle vase. Bidding is in at 500.
Straight in at 500. That's the reserve.
600, 620, 650, 680, £700 with me at 700. At 700 with me at 7.
700. That'll bring a smile to your face.
At 700. At 700, 700, 700 at 700. £700 all in at 7. Sold then at 700.
£700 we've got a commission to take away, and that leaves just under 600 quid, £595. David Hakeney offered 500 quid. You gambled, you've come to the auction, on the day, it's turned out well. What's Nan called?
Wendy.
And what's Grandad called?
Alan.
Wendy Allen? He's done the business for you. He's coming home with nearly 600 quid. That's the real deal.
The vase was hot property in the auction. What a great result. After a fantastic day, our dealers have handed over more than £2,000 of their own money today. But have they managed to earn any of it back? It was a struggle for David H today.
You're going to say that's not enough?
It's not, no.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's your final offer?
And you're going to say no?
No.
Two top bids on the table, but they weren't enough to stop his sellers heading off to auction. Jan hasn't had much luck either.
It is absolutely quite wonderful. I think I'm willing to have a little bit of a gamble on this.
Jan placed the violin straight into auction, but it failed to hit its reserve. However, she's not too concerned. She's planning to sell it at one of the UK's largest antique fairs, along with the Royal Ducks figure. Next under the spotlight is Mr. Ford, who's had some success.
All I've got to do is put another £20 down there, and we have a deal.
Yeah, that's right.
The gold bracelet was sold on to a very good customer of his for a modest profit. And as for the heraldic ingots...
Today, they're probably only worth, commercially, the value of the silver. Right. Seems sad.
David was right. The value was in the silver alone and resulted in the ingots being cashed in with a bullion dealer for a small profit. This leaves our Debbie. Just the one item for her today.
In its own right, it is worth something just because it's made of silver.
Debbie showed the rest of the dealers how it's done.
Got a deal.
That's fine.
After paying out £110 for the Jubilee plate, she sold it on to a royal collector for the princely sum of £300. Wow, that really is a regal deal. You're crowned today's most successful dealer.
We've had a great day here in Royal Leamington Spa. There's been bags of action all day, lots of buying and lots of selling. That's what I like to see. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. See you.